Hello, it's Mascoti contributing a guest tutorial for you guys and girls. Recently, I made a commercial video that needed some grain removal, and since the demand was a high quality picture, I had to find a way to preserve the quality along with reducing the grain. As you know, Hitfilm grain removal effect softens the picture a great deal when used excessively, and I created a solution to preserve the details and sharpness of the image. I will show you how I did it with this really grainy bad quality clip for two reasons. One, to prove my point that this method does work, and two, make sure you notice the difference even with highly compressed tutorial videos that this one is. So, let's begin. First, create a comp shot of your clip. Then we need 3 duplicate layers of the footage. The key element to this whole method is find edges effect. And this effect finds the edges of your footage and highlights them, or when inverted makes them black, and flat surfaces are somewhat in opposite color. And we want to invert this effect. This thing can be used to isolate the edges and preserve them. Soft footage often looks soft just because the edges are soft, but if you can preserve them, you just might get away with it. Okay, well, first we need to filter out the grain from the find edges algorithm, since we don't want the grain to be shown in the edges matte. And this we can do by simple blur. It creates a soft looking picture. Then add some harsh blacks and whites to really see the edges. They are really distinct, as you can see here. Compare edge, edge, and there are some picture on the wall. It's coming along pretty nicely too. So then we use a luminance key to key out the edges, as in black parts of the image. Let's see. Make sure that not too much of the grain gets keyed out too, otherwise it will look a bit funny. Add some tolerance too, so that the cut won't be as tough. Check the view matte. Well, it's pretty nice. Then I add another effect of blur to soften the result a bit more. And we can use this information with set matte to another layer, but before we can use a set matte, as it needs the alpha channel, we need a separate grade layer on top of the find edges effect layer, so that it kind of catches the alpha layer. It has all the information the underlying layer has. It's to be this way, otherwise you won't get the alpha channel to work up with this set matte effect. Okay, let's see. It looks like this. Original footage, but without the edges. Now we can use grain removal, or a simple blur actually works too. Add a blur before the set matte, so we don't blur the edges, keyed out edges too. And it looks a bit funny here, but that's just because some of the grain has been keyed out too, so we can make this underlying untouched layer visible, and the result will look like this. Then we can, for example, adjust the blur a bit, so that the flat areas will become even more flat, and grain disappears even more. So we can add a grain removal to the underlying layer to take some of the grain away from the edges that has been untouched until now, if that is needed. It's not necessarily always the case. Okay. Well, how does it look like when taken this far? It's still very grainy, but if you compare it to the original footage, the difference is this. And I'd say that's a huge difference. And if you look at the edges, they are being preserved. So the picture will remain pretty sharp, even though there's a heavy load of grain removal being done. Some of the flat areas are being blurred too, that has some detail, and if you want to preserve that, you can just reduce the opacity of the grain removal layer to your liking. Of course it increases the original grain to show up more, but well, it's a compromise. Well, so is this effective method? You could ask me, and I will answer. You see, the blur here, it's not quite grain removal, but does a bit similar than grain removal does. And you can compare this. Now you see the grain reduced clip, and without the find edges algorithm type effect group I did, it would look like this. Boom. Well, that's a soft image, so the difference is quite nice. Okay, and I assure you, if you use a proper camera like I did, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, that's pretty nice, but it's not perfect for low lights, and that's why I needed to reduce the grain. The results were really good. This was from a tablet camera, that's really bad, especially in low light. So thanks for watching. I hope that you find this tutorial helpful, and if you find a better solution to reduce grain in Hitfilm, please tell me. Okay, thanks.